What's going on, guys? It's Steve. Now, if you hear any type of wind or cars or trucks, I'm back in the city. My apartment is right, you know how New York City is, so you're gonna hear all these cars and traffic and things like that. So please do not get mad at me if there is traffic and whatever. But anyway, I know I didn't make a video in 2 days. I got back and I was like, you know what? I didn't know. I was just so excited. I wanted to spend time with my family, so that's why I took 2 days off. Okay, I apologize, but I did. Okay, it's nice to have a day off for, this is like the second day I had off in like a year, uploading multiple videos a day. But anyway, Charles Barkley and Draymond Green have nothing in common. And Skip Bayless has come out and said that he believes Draymond Green is better than Charles Barkley. How the hell is Draymond Green better than Charles Barkley? Draymond moving green screen, okay, is nowhere near as good as Charles Barkley was. Now, it's going to be hard to compare the two players because obviously Draymond Green is the fourth option, whereas Charles Barkley was always the #1 option. But that's the differentiating factor. Do you think if Charles Barkley played in the modern NBA, he would be the fourth option? No. He would probably be the second or third option, depending on if Steve Kerr and the rest of his team wanted to give the second option to him or Stephen Curry. It's that simple. And for Skip Bayless to come out and say that he believes Charles Barkley is not better than Draymond Green, that makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. No sense whatsoever, Skip Bayless. Mr. Baseless, again, with your crazy analogies and all this other crap. Oh, and by the way, did you guys hear Shannon Sharp say my analogy? I heard Shannon Sharp, and did you see his suit? That suit was fresh as fuck. Anyway, I heard Shannon Sharp say my analogy. So two things are going on here. He either watches my videos, or, like the phrase says, great minds think alike. My analogy when I talk about the planets and things like that. Anyway, he did it better than me because I always screwed up when I do it. But that's besides the point. The point is that Skip Bayless, this guy is crazy. This guy is crazy. Okay? Listen, the only thing that Draymond and Charles Barkley have in common, and it's not even a similarity because Charles Barkley's case was way more extreme. Draymond Green is what, 6'9", playing a big man? Okay, slightly undersized, but let's be real, Al Horford's also like 6'9". He ain't no 6'11". Okay, Dwight Howard's like 6'9". He's not 6'11". Okay, LeBron's the same exact height as Dwight Howard. Kevin Durant is taller than both of them, than all of them. Okay, so screw all that nonsense, it's whatever. Here is where Charles Barkley's case is extreme. Charles Barkley was 6'4" tall. I repeat, 6'4" tall, playing the big man, dominating the power forward position, dominating the big men in the NBA. Charles Barkley was the most unguardable player of his time, or at least one of the most unguardable players of his time, depending on who you want to give it to. You know what I mean? Because think about it. Yeah, okay, obviously, I take that back. Michael Jordan was obviously the most unguardable player of his time. But when you talk about big men being unguardable, it was him, it was Hakeem, and it was Shaq. Okay? Carmelo was a little different because obviously he was unguardable, but he was unguardable in the sense of the pick and roll. He wasn't unguardable and, oh, his footwork was amazing. Or Hakeem was unguardable because his footwork was just out of this world, okay? Shaq was unguardable because this man was a friggin' 7 foot, 350-pound beast, okay? So Charles Barkley was unguardable because he was a 6'4" beast, pure strength in his early days, and even after he grew a little fat and got a little chubby, he's still too strong for anyone to stand a chance against him, okay? He had the handling ability. He had, he could post you up. He can come off the screens. He can pick and roll. He had that little, not mid-range, it was probably like a 10-foot jump shot. He'll dunk on your head. I mean, this guy was so freaking unguardable. And then when you compare him to Draymond Green, okay, Draymond Green, yeah, you could say he's a better shooter, but big men didn't shoot the basketball back then. Heck, even guards and forwards barely shot the basketball from three back then, so you really can't compare it. It's like saying, it's like, in a sense, it's like you're comparing what was it, 3D or D3, I'm pretty sure it's 3D, the best shooter from the 90s, or like Reggie Miller, to Ray Allen from modern days, or Stephen Curry. There's just no comparison. You simply cannot compare those players because it was a different era in terms of shooting. They didn't really utilize shooting the three as much as they do now. So obviously we're gonna have better players now from shooting three. And it's the same concept with Charles Barkley and Draymond Green. Now you want to talk about defense. Draymond Green's obviously more versatile, but again, back then you didn't have big men besides Scottie Pippen really, and he wasn't really a big man, he was a three-man guarding guards. So it's just a whole different situation. The end of the story is that Charles Barkley is simply the better player. Simply the better player, better all-around player. He, just carry the team like Draymond Green can't. Okay, and I put emphasis on can't because we haven't seen him been able to do that because obviously he's not the number one option on his team. But at the end of the day, it's still the scenario that, look, Draymond Green he can do everything on the floor, but I don't see him as the number one option on the team. I hear a lot of people saying, like, look, Draymond Green, if he had his own team, he'd probably be putting up triple-doubles like Russell Westbrook. No, not true. Not true at all, okay? The extra emphasis of having Stephen Curry, first of all, having Curry and Klay Thompson on your team, you're going to get little to no attention on the offensive end. So there's reason one. Reason two, add Kevin Durant to that, guess what? Absolute no attention on the offensive end. That is why Draymond Green is able to do what he does. I'm not saying he's a terrible player, but he's a little, I'm not saying overrated, but overhyped in the sense that people think he's as good as Charles Barkley when Charles Barkley was the one who carried his team in those situations. Charles Barkley is the one that, just carried the Rockets to the finals, or the the Suns and things like that. That was Charles Barkley. 22 points per game, 12 rebounds per game for his career. Charles Barkley being 6'4", averaging 29 points per game some seasons, and like 15 rebounds, like 3 blocks, 50% from the field, like 2 fouls per game. This guy, Charles Barkley, listen, I know a lot of people don't like Charles Barkley, and I don't understand why. I love Charles Barkley. You know why people don't like him, especially the players? And I'm going to get to Draymond Green in a second. The reason why the players don't like Charles Barkley is because he's honest and he don't give a damn what people say. He doesn't care about political correctness, okay? And that's why I love Charles Barkley more than I love other quote-unquote ex-NBA players who are now analysts, because they're too politically correct, okay? So that is why I love Charles Barkley. Now, in terms of Draymond Green, when he said, hell no, when they were like, do you like the comparisons of people saying, you're like Charles Barkley? And he said, hell no, I'm Draymond Green. He didn't mean that in a negative way. People always take this stuff out of context. He did not mean that in a negative way. What did he mean? He just simply meant, look, I don't want to be Charles Barkley. I don't want to be Hakeem Olajuwon. I don't want to be Kevin Garnett. I just want to be Draymond Green. Okay? That's all he wants to be, is Draymond Green. He didn't mean it in a negative context, saying, hell no, I don't want to be that bum of a player. Are you kidding me? He did not mean it that way. Okay? If anything, he probably meant it in a good way, in a sense like, listen, Charles was Charles, okay? King Charles. I said Chink. King Charles, he got that nickname for a reason. You don't get the nickname King and you're not good at basketball. Are they going to go out and say, here, King Dellavedova? Are they going to do that? Or King Dwyane Wade? Excuse me. I take that back. I meant to say, what they're going to do is King Wade, or King Carmelo, or King KD, okay, King James. That is what they're going to do. They're not going to give the King name to some random scrub, okay? So, Draymond Green didn't mean it in a negative context. And I love how the media, every single time takes things out of context. It's just like, chill the F out. He did not mean it that way. Okay? He didn't mean to say, hell no, I don't want to be like, he didn't mean it like that. And people obviously just take it out of context. It's pretty sad, to be honest. It's pretty sad that they take it out of context, honestly. But at the end of the day, he didn't mean anything by it. But at the end of the day, at the same time, he's not even as good as Charles Barkley. So if he meant to be disrespectful, there's no disrespect. Because let's be real, Charles Barkley is 10 times better than Draymond Green ever was. Anyways, it's been your man. And if you doubt me, go to basketballreference.com and type in Charles Barkley. Or just look at highlights. It's been your man, Steve. I'm out. Peace.